3 tips to gaming with kids. 1. Short and simple. Keep it down to 1 encounter. So plan your time accordingly. 30 minutes, 45 minutes, no more than an hour. Make sure it's round table. Make sure that each person is getting a turn, sort of like a board game, so that the child knows, oh, I'm coming up next. They know what to expect. They don't have much choices. You're almost railroading them in a sense. I recommend creating moments when it's their turn. It becomes their turn and the monster is there. Have another one pop up suddenly. Or maybe the ground shakes and the monster tumbles. It makes it easier for the kid. Never put the kid in the disadvantage. Always put the monster in the disadvantage. And that brings me to a good point here. And I got them all here, right here. Have an adult with you. Try to get someone and recruit somebody that can help guide the kids in the right direction and keep them motivated and keep them thinking about how they should role play, maybe how they should explore. Even though you don't have it, you're getting this sense of painting the picture and painting the imagination. Try to be creative in your picture. Try to have those voices. As bad as you are, I have one voice for everything. My translation always turns into a Spanish voice. But even that, make it work. Give it, scariness. Give it funness. Give it colorfulness. Give it wonder. Give it excitement. Paint that picture. Your goal is to just engage that kid. It's only for 30 minutes. Go all in for those 30 minutes. Make sure you have a clear point of interest. Now, this could be a treasure chest on the opposite side, something that they're going to work towards. Don't worry about if it makes sense. Just go for it. Just do it. Go for the cliche. Go for the easy. Just go for the things that make the simplest sense. No complexity. And that's tough sometimes for a DM. This isn't the place. This is very simple, straightforward stuff that we're getting into. And with that, when your bad guys appear, give them 1 health. That's it. And that's what I like about Hero Kids is you only have health. So it's 1 health and you're KO'd. If you have 2 health, maybe you get hurt and then KO'd. If you have 3 health, you'll get bruised, hurt, KO'd. And if you have 4 health because you're a boss or something, you'll get grazed, bruised, hurt, and KO'd. And it's very simple. This way, when they're fighting the monster, they get a hit, that fight is done. They crumble. The last thing I would say about short and simple, try not to include any tactical advantages and bring these in step by step. So what I mean is, 1, don't have all the enemies shown at one time. Let them progress forward and introduce another one and another one and another one. This way something's always happening as you progress. Other tactical advantages are stuff like choke points, elevation points, cover, any environmental hazards, falling rocks or collapsing bridges. You want to exclude these. You want to bring them in when the time is right, maybe down the road, maybe 5 sessions, 6 sessions later, and they are the highlight. This way you can start to introduce tactical gameplay as you progress. And this is where the adult comes into play, where it's like, hey, look, this is a strategic point to have the monsters funnel in. So let's hold position here. This way, not only are you going mindlessly, but now your child is becoming a strategic-minded player. And this carries on, and they're going to think strategy. They're going to think strategy whether they're gaming, they're going to think it board gaming, or they're going to think it in video gaming or sports. And they'll start to think strategy. How do I strategize and come up with a plan instead of just going forward? But you want to introduce these things as they progress. The second tip I would say for gaming with kids is to keep it morally clear, meaning good versus evil. Don't muddy the waters. I wouldn't try to bring moral concepts into the picture, doing lesser evils for the greater good, that type of stuff. Just keep it very simple. This way they're very focused. They know these are the bad guys. They got to get beat up from the feet up. That's it. You only have 30 minutes. An hour max. Children operate differently. They have shorter attention spans. They have clearer focus as to what is good, what is bad behavior. And that translates into good and evil. And the monsters should get beat up. And that brings me to my next point in good and evil. Make them monsters. Don't make them bandits or, people or whatever the case is. Make them clear monsters. Make your children vanquish these monsters, put them to an end, send them back to the portal, defeat their evil plans of, destroying villages and stuff like that. You want to send them a clear message as the monsters get beat up. And then the third one is in that realm of good and evil, save the MacGuffin. So whatever it is, you want to save something. They want to be the heroes. They want to be the good guys. They want to They're there to do the good deeds. And with Hero Kids, the whole game, the whole premise is about kids. So these kids go out on adventures, and they are the ones doing the good stuff. So you want to just keep that in mind, whether it's a treasure, whether it's something that was stolen, you're bringing back, for the prince, the princess, the king, whatever it is. Or in my case, it's save the parents. So they go out and they are looking for the adults that have suddenly disappeared in the world. So whatever it is, give them a goal, a simple goal. It shouldn't be more than a sentence long, and they'll be off to the races. I need water. All right, I covered the third point already. My third point was going to be game with another adult. Try to recruit somebody into the game that can help facilitate the game itself. So this person's job is to get the children to think, is get them to strategize, get them to make decisions and help them in the thinking process, not to give them the answers, not to tell them what to do, but to tell them to think outside the box. I'll give you an example. When I did the skeleton run, the adult that I had playing with us, when my skeletons would come back to life, they took them a turn. The adult was like, hey, maybe there's a way that we can get them to squash for good. So they just started smashing the bones. So when they collapsed, they would roll for just smashing the bones. So that's why you kind of want that adult to kind of like get the juices flowing, get the ideas popping out, so that the children can start to think and come up with their own ideas. And sometimes they're going to be the exact same ideas that they just feel like they thought of. And that's perfectly fine. You want them to have those thoughts. You want them to strategize. You want them to think out the box. Because if they're going to enjoy the game, this is a game of imagination. To promote any type of imagination, whether it's a copycat or if it's original, it's still imagination. They're still coming up with it. And eventually they're going to start to come up with their own ideas as they grow older. Again, we're talking about, very young kids, 5, 6, 7, even 4. The Hero Kids is for 4-year-olds too. So if your child can do it at 4 years old, by all means, again, you want to know your child also. So the fourth one, I know that there's 3 tips, but there was a fourth one. It's a small one. What I call it is the blanket roll. So this one roll will cover whatever it is. And my kids have even put a twist on it. I'm going to explain it in a second. So if there's an encounter and that there's 5 skeletons, he comes in, he just wants to see who wins. There will be one roll, and I'll tell them, hey, roll. Now we do these dice here. Let me see if I can get them in the picture. But 6-sided dice, right? So I'll tell them, hey, roll 3 dice. And if you get 4, 5, 6, or 4, 5, or 6 on any of the dice, you defeat all of them. This is my blanket roll. Now, again, this might be a little gut-wrenching for the DM. They want to know the intricacies of how the battle will unfold, Is there a give and take? And we don't just want one fate roll for everything. But it also moves them on to the next part of the story. And if that's what the kids like, then do that for them. Use the blanket roll and just roll to see what the outcome of the situation is. Now, you're not doing a win or loss. This isn't success or failure. This is more like success and obstacle. So if they succeed, then they wipe out all of the thing. But if they fail, then maybe they just get pushed out of the room, or the floor collapses and they go into another part of the dungeon where maybe a few of them collapsed. Zombie skeletons collapsed, and now instead of fighting 5, they have to fight 3 or something like that. So you can still make successes even if they roll low, is what I'm saying. Don't think that it's pass or fail. It could be succeed or lesser succeed. And that's how we treat the blanket roll in that concept, is just to roll and see if something happens or something extraordinary happens. Do they jump the chasm and stuff like that. So anyway, if you have information or you have some suggestions, not information, but if you have suggestions on how to run games for kids and you want to leave them down below, go ahead, feel free. And these are just mine, but I'm sure there's plenty more. And there's also more that are very specific to you and your table. So don't be afraid or don't be hesitant to leave it down below, because it might impact someone else's table that might benefit from what you guys say. So I love to see the comments and see the ideas that you guys have down there. And that's it, guys. So thank you for watching. This is Craft Nicks. Tabletop hobby, shot craft, and everything from terrain to the game, and this is where it's at. So stick around. We're going to do some crafting, we're going to do some game crafting and terrain crafting and all the above. So right now I'm just doing some Hero Kids and enjoying it with my boys. So that's what it is right now. So I don't do anything more than what I'm doing in the hobby at the minute. This is a hobby channel, and this is what I'm doing in the hobby right now. So stick around, and I hope to see you guys moving forward. Signing out. Peace. Hey guys, by the way, if you want me to talk about more about Hero Kids, I'll be glad to do so. Just leave it in the comments below and I'll make a video about it. Ain't nothing to but to do it. So in the meantime, I'm going to try to put some videos up here or somewhere. And this is probably my end screen. So again, signing out.